This chapter is going to be a ton of fun because here we're going to explore how we can change, modify, and enhance color. And in particular, with this image, we're going to take a look at a powerful adjustment which allows us to replace color. Well, before we begin, let's go ahead and duplicate or copy our background layer so that we have something to compare it to. So we'll go ahead and press Command-J on a Mac or Control-J on Windows, and let's name this new layer Color. You can rename the layer by double-clicking into the layer name and simply typing out a new name. Now that we have this duplicate layer, let's go to our Image pull-down menu, then select Adjustments. Next, in the submenu, make your way all the way down to the bottom here and choose Replace Color. This will open up our Replace Color dialog. What this will do is it will give us the ability to change the color of our image in this layer. That's why we duplicated it, so that we can have two versions of this image. Well, you may notice here that you have some eyedroppers. Let's go ahead and click on the background because that's what we want to change. You'll notice that it's showing me, it's targeting primarily this color here, this blue. Well, let's go ahead and see what happens if we change that color. I'll go ahead and change the hue, and for the most part, it does a decent job. Yet you notice that it's not selecting everything. We can see that in the mask and also on the image. Here you can see that this area down here isn't selected enough. Well, we can change that by dialing in our amount of fuzziness. As I increase that, you notice that more of this area is selected. As I now change the hue, we can see that that's changing more of that background color. We can also modify this a different way. Let me show you what I mean. Here, just for demo purposes, I'm going to go ahead and decrease my fuzziness. I'm decreasing it way down. Now I only have this small slice of the image selected. Well, if ever you need to build up a selection, you want more selected, you want to turn off localized color clusters. Next, you can click on one of these two icons to either add or subtract from that selection. Here, let's click on the icon with the plus and go ahead and click. And as I do that, I can build up my selection. You can also just click and drag, and you can do that on the image, or you can do that on the mask. Now, obviously, my fuzziness amount is really low, yet it's helpful to kind of see how you can build up this selection here by simply clicking and dragging around your image. Well, of course, we would want to increase that fuzziness as well, and by combining those two techniques, well, it can give us just that perfect selection. And what's great about this is this allows us to change color and also saturation. Perhaps we want something a little bit more muted, maybe a more subtle color palette. Or you can also change the overall brightness of that area that you've selected. And again, it just gives us so much flexibility, and this is a lot of fun in regards to changing the way that your image appears. Now, after you've come to a point where you kind of like the new color palette that you have, you just want to make sure that you have all of these settings just right. Click the Preview button or press the P key to look at your before and after. And if it's good, in order to apply this Replace Color, just simply click OK. Well, now here in our Layers panel, we have two versions of our photograph. One, the background, which is the original, and then the layer on top, this new layer which we've created, where we've taken advantage of this powerful adjustment, which allows us to target and customize how we can replace colors. And with this image, this went really well. It was pretty smooth. And the reason it was because we had this really bold, solid color in the background. It was the sky. Well, what about those situations where things don't work out quite so easily? Where maybe you don't have as much color separation or definition as we have in this image. Well, let's take a look at how we can work with this and how we can replace color in some other scenarios as well. And let's do that in the next movie.